Welcome to the Sisterhood Tea Party, where we get together weekly to discuss all the tea about life, relationships, pop culture, and generally anything you chat about with your best friend over a cup of tea or beverage of choice.
We're your hosts, Stephanie and Jessica, and we've been spilling the tea to each other for more than a decade, and now we're ready to invite the rest of you to the tea party.
Hi, friend.
Hey, girl, how are you?
You know, I am just out here living. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. It's just
little
been
bit
a
of spicy day.
yeah, it's been a day, but you know what? We're here. I get to hang out with you, so that's really all that matters right now.
Literally, I'm excited. We are here at the tea party, and we have a pretty fun topic for today, too.
We do. I'm really excited about it. We're going to be chatting about side hustles. We're going to talk about both of our side hustles, but before we do, we're going to talk about what is top of mind for us. So I will start.
Let's hear it.
These expensive ass nails. Now, here's the thing.
I mean, they look good. Wait, show them off. Show them off.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, I got to get, oh yeah, look at that HD.
Yes.
So
they look so good.
They look really good on camera. Okay, anyway, so I literally just got them done right before this, and I went in with the expectation, like I knew that they were going to be expensive because I got this similar style for my birthday. So I was like, okay, like it'll be fine. But I think hearing the cost combined with so obviously the manicure and the pedicure together, the sticker cost was like very shocking to me. And I'm like, well, here's my card. Here you go. But it's worth it. I think, I mean, I needed them done. They were grown out and they were starting to hurt, which if I don't know if that makes sense, but like they just were uncomfortable to start typing and texting and doing just normal things. So I was like, she got to get done. So
yeah.
But I
No,
feel
to
good
me,
about
like
them.
having my nails done is a must because if they're not done, I'm like biting them. So like I can't even remember the last time I didn't have my nails done, to be honest. It's been years because I
Oh,
just like can't
really?
go without it. Yeah, I cannot.
I feel that sometimes I will go through phases of not wanting my nails done and I'll just go bare, but I don't nail bite though, but I just like keep them bare and just like hang out. And then there will be times I'm like, all right, it's time to like bring them back again. So for right now we are in our nails are done era, because I have things to do and I have people to see and be outside. So starting tomorrow, I will be outside living my best golf girl life. So the nails had to be done unless, in case, Amanda decided to put a ring on my finger.
You never know, we may see those nails next time on Instagram with a ring on.
It's true, but I'm being
soft launch with a nail.
Right, soft
Or
launch.
soft launch with a ring, I mean.
Girl, I'm being so delulu about it, but it's fine. It's fine,
You know
Delulu might also
yeah.
come Trululu.
Manifest it. I believe in you. I love
Yes.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what's top of mind for you though?
Okay, top of mind for me is the new Bridgerton season. I am so excited. Do you watch Bridgerton?
Well, here's the thing. I watched the first season and then I didn't get back into it. So I have not seen it. No.
Well, I'm here to convince you. Okay, so season 1, in my opinion, was terrible. I know a lot of people loved it, but I did not like season 1, mostly because they all looked so young that it gave me the ick. I was like, this feels illegal to watch. It felt gross. But everyone told me season 2 was incredible. Season 2 was like life altering. It was so good. It was so good. Like life altering in the sense of like I'm a book talk girly, right? Like I love like the enemies to lovers tropes and like like, oh, who did this to you? Like I just like, oh, I live for that stuff. And season 2 was chef's kiss. Like it was so good. And then they came out with Queen Charlotte. And Queen Charlotte broke my heart. It was also incredibly good. Again, a very like book talk. It was more of like a forced proximity kind of trope. And it was like absolutely devastatingly heartbreaking. Like it was so good. I just did a rewatch and it's so good. And now season 3, I'm like, y'all have some high standards to hit. And I have been seeing like the press that they've been doing for it. And it's the love story for this one. Oh my God, like the chemistry that the actor and actress have are like so good. And I've like seen a few spoilers from the books because I've never actually read the Bridgerton books, but I've
Mhm.
seen some like quotes from it or like little passages, and I'm like, this is about to be spicy, and I'm just like so excited.
Oh, goodness. You know, the way that you explain things makes me want to go and watch. So I'm just like listening, like, huh, maybe I should give it a chance, and go and
Girl,
watch. I
I'm telling
bought
you,
Netflix
season
for a
two,
reason.
you would love it. Like I'm telling you, season two.
So let me ask you this. So it was season 2, then they came out with Queen Charlotte. So is Queen Charlotte a
Yeah.
separate show?
Yeah, so Queen Charlotte is a so it's a prequel and post like number two. So it's kind of like the Queen's story and her and the king. Because in season two you see, I don't think you see him in season one, but in season two you kind of find out who the king is, and so but like you don't really know much about him or like what is their relationship like. So it's like
Mhm.
their how they met and how they got together, and then it also follows what's going on in the queen's life after season two. And so there's some like open storylines that you think are probably going to come up in this new season three. Um,
Oh,
but it's kind of like a sideshow just about how the queen and the king met. And it is, oh, it's
okay.
so good.
Huh. So when does season 3 come out then?
It comes out like this month, like literally in May. I'm so excited. Like in two
Okay.
weeks or something like
So what
that.
you're saying is I need to start season 2 yesterday
Yes.
and make sure I'm caught up to get ready and then also watch Queen Charlotte and then
Yes.
into see okay.
Yeah, watch season two and or yeah, season two and then watch Queen Charlotte and then come back for season three. And they're doing it in I think two or three parts. So like there's gonna be a release in May and then I think there's another one in June for the
Okay.
rest of it. So you can probably get caught up by the June one if you really push yourself. So
All right. Well, I might have some time coming up maybe,
yeah,
but honestly with the way life be lifing, I don't
I
know. But
know, maybe not.
we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I could nerd out about it all day. I'm sure we'll on another top of mind in the future, we'll be like, I watched it. We can
Oh,
talk about it more.
well, that's what happened with Love is Blind because I was like, I am not watching season 6. And then I was like, girl, season 6.
So real. So real.
So I would not be surprised if it happened.
Love it. Okay, well, let's get into the real tea for today and let's talk about side hustles, which are
Yeah,
fun.
they really are. They're fun. They allow you to be a little bit creative and kind of explore, different interests that you have. And you're like, I wonder if I could, do this, part time or whatever. So I guess we can talk about like why we are doing our side hustles and kind of how we got into them and go from there. So I'll let you kick it
Yeah.
off because I love your side hustles.
Okay, yeah. So my why side hustles for me, like I have a very analytical job and I've always been like a very analytical person in general. And I got to a place where I was like, I need a creative outlet. Like I want to embrace that creative side. Like I was creative when I was like a kid, but then that side of me I just like really shut off. And so I was like, cool. Plus, like no rich person has just one income.
I
So
know
I'm
that's
like,
right. That's
so
true.
I'm like, cool, I have my career, but like even if I like climb to the height of my career, there's like a salary cap there, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
if I want to go beyond that. So that's kind of what got me into side hustles, like a creative outlet mostly, but also just the idea of like, why not do more? But what about you?
Yeah. For me, I also just needed a way to escape the 9 to 5. Obviously,
Yeah.
working from home, I have not had a lot of like people interaction in probably 5 years at this point, working from home right now. So I'm like, I needed a way for me to kind of get out there and
Yeah.
be around people and have those interactions and kind of build up my own community here, especially living in Dallas over these last several years. I'm big on my community and you hear me talk about this. Like the people that I've met here, my closest friends are all living here. So that was my biggest reason for getting one. And then of course, like I was like, well, I don't know if I'm actually going to stay in it. And then here I am 4 years later with both of these side hustles and being able to grow in both of them has been really fun and rewarding to experience.
I love that so much. Yeah. You know, it's so interesting that you say that because I recently have been thinking a lot about like building community and like feeling isolated working from home. Like I
Mhm.
love that I can work from home and I love the flexibility, but sometimes I do miss just like the collaboration and
Yeah.
socialization that you get with being in person. So I love that that's like part of your journey to your side hustle. That's
Yeah. It's really
interesting.
nice. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I love working from home, the flexibility and like there are days I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't want to be around people. So like
literally.
it's so nice. But again, there are those like I crave that attention. Not crave attention. I crave that community.
I crave that
I mean,
attention. I'm clipping that.
crave and just no context. I crave attention. No, but I crave community and I love being around my people here. And, it's been just a fun experience to have. So I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It keeps me busy. I will tell you that. It is
Oh,
definitely something where I'm like, I'm up and I'm working. And then if I'm not working, I'm at one hustle. If I'm not doing that hustle, it's another one or working on getting another. It's never ending, but I like it.
it's a good point. Like it is so busy.
Mhm.
Like there are some mornings where like I start work literally, my alarm goes off at 5:30. I'm downstairs by 5:40 a.m. and I'm starting to work.
Yep,
Like this podcast. Like that's a form of side hustle too. I
it
mean, we
is.
haven't quite monetized it yet, but we're working on
Yet.
it and
Oh, we're working on it. There's gonna be a day that we get out there and we're gonna be on tour. And
yeah,
y'all are gonna be
when you guys hear our ad breaks, we're like, are you have you tried the new da 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 da? Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Okay, so tell the people about your side hustles. What are your side hustles?
Okay. So I have two side hustles. First one, which I think most of everybody now knows, but if you haven't, or if this is your first episode you're listening to, I'm a spin instructor in the evenings. So I teach roughly 2 to 3 nights a week. Well, I would say days a week. I have 2 nights and then I have a weekend that I typically teach. And they're a lot of fun. The vibes are everything. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but like I think my classes are really good. um,
Yes.
and the music I play is very much like EDM, hip hop, rap. It's very much, I'm all about my remixes and I love a good beat drop. So that is what you will hear in my classes. I like to keep them closer to those like really, really high end boutique classes that do play like a lot of that music because I want to bring that experience to everybody. And then the biggest thing about it is like I love being able to kind of share who I am on the bike and be authentic and be raw and real with people. And of course, meeting people who do come to my classes, it gives me the opportunity to build community and to learn about people who are coming from all different walks of life to come to a spin class and vibe out
Yeah.
for 45 minutes and just be in this space with people. Like I always tell people, like, this is your space. I want you to, feel free to take up space and be yourself here and ride how you mean it. Like this is for you. Like I tell people I'm simply a guide. I tell you to,
Mhm.
add a quarter turn, add a half turn, but like you are the one that's on that bike and you're moving and you're embracing that. So it's like I'm just thankful to be part of it. And I've been doing it now, gosh, 4.5 years now.
A long time.
It's a
Yeah.
long
I
time. And
remember when you first were starting and you
mhm,
were like training, right? Because you had to like qualify or you had to like
yeah,
meet a certain bar in order to become an instructor, right? I don't remember what the
yeah.
qualifications were.
No, and it's changed so much over the last basically 5 years. So when I
Yeah.
started training, I went through kind of an open audition process. So it was myself and a few other people in the room. We were basically writing in a 30-minute kind of class format. And then from there, people were walking around the room and they were evaluating you. So I'm like nervous trying to like stay on beat and like have my clean form and all of that. When I passed, I worked through a couple of different auditions, passed both of those, and then I was on the schedule February of 2020. And then I taught 8 classes and the world shut down because
COVID.
of COVID. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just spent 6 months of training only to have taught 8 classes. And I'm like, am I ever going to get back on a bike? Because again, we had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So long story short, got back on a bike 4.5 years later. I've taught almost now 500 classes. I'm pushing 500. I think I will hit
That's
500
incredible.
by, it's wild. I'll be at 500 by summer, I think, is where I'll be at.
Wow.
Oh, what a
So as
journey.
I have taken one spin class with you, and it was
That's true.
during COVID. It was during
What?
COVID
I
because COVID
remember.
happened and everything shut down. I was like, well, I'm going to buy a bike so I can work out at
Yes,
home. And then you posted online one of your spin classes, and I
I
took it
did.
virtually, and it was wonderful. And
Thank
didn't know
you.
what the hell I was doing, but it was so good. And now I'm like, I need to, like, when I go visit you, we need to plan it where like I come maybe like on a day where you are teaching a class and then you have the rest of the time off while I'm there. And so I can go to one of your classes in person because
Yes.
I definitely wanted to have the full
Oh my
light and
gosh.
everything experience.
I tell people all the time, like, I'm not, talking shit about like Peloton or any of those indoor or, not indoor, but like kind of
Yeah,
like those self bikes and
at
things that are it's
home.
like virtual at home. Like I'm not gonna talk shit about it, but the experience of being in an
So different.
in-person class, it just hits different. And especially we have loud music, dark room, the lights, like it's just a whole vibe.
Yes.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just something you have to experience. But again, I
Yeah.
get if it's not your thing, if you're like, nah, I'm good, I'm just going to be at home, that's cool too. Peloton offers a great workout, but we
Yeah.
also offer a great workout too. So,
Well, what a great side hustle too, because like you said, like you're connecting with community,
mhm,
you're having fun because it's like a high energy environment and a little extra cash so you
a
can
little
pay for
extra
those
cash,
nails.
basically. And they just goes away, just that money flying away. Um, but it's fun. I love it. But I mean, obviously, because I've been doing it for so long, and now I've been able to kind of like grow in that side hustle and go from just being an instructor, on the team to now being a lead instructor as of like 2 days ago. So yeah, I
Congrats.
think
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know this. This is like hot
yeah,
off the press news.
it is hot off the press. So right now I'm taking over the lead position, which is very exciting. So I think there's a training process behind that. So more to come on that, but that is how I've been able to elevate this side hustle, being able to truly grow and see myself kind of like move up in a sense with it. So
Congratulations. That is
thank you.
incredible. I'm not surprised, but this is great news. I love it.
Thank
And this
you.
is not your only side hustle. You have another one.
Correct. So in addition to that, I also model as my little side hustle. So that also started during COVID. And there's like two different versions of the modeling that I do. So there's paid modeling, and then there's modeling that is called like TFP or time for photos. So basically the TFP modeling is I, volunteer my time to go to these different shoots. I'm working with different vendors, so photographers, the venues that we're going to, um, the people who bring the dresses, hair, makeup, all of these different vendors who create weddings. So I do mostly bridal. And in exchange for my time, I get photos to use for my portfolio to build out, my website that I have and things like that. So that's one side of that. And I've done that particular modeling probably the entire duration. So the 4 years I've been doing it now. And then there's paid
Mm-hmm.
modeling, which is basically what I've told you, except you get paid for it. Um, so I've done a couple of different shoots where I've been paid, which has been so cool. There's one I did for a shop that's in town called Favor the Kind. And I went in and they're like, what are your rates? And I'm like, you can pay me X. And they're like, sure, okay. So I worked for a couple hours and they sent me money via Venmo that same day. Um, I also,
Amazing.
which I don't think I've ever talked about this, I did modeling, not really modeling, but it was more like print slash, I don't, maybe it was modeling. I'll call it modeling for this CrossFit stretching app. And they
Oh,
paid me like $350 to like basically be a model and just like hold a pose of stretches. I did this like 2, 3 years ago.
wow.
It was such a weird experience, but also very fun. And
Yeah.
I was just like, it was just, you get to meet different people and do different experiences. I mean, sometimes I don't even know how I get myself into these situations, but you know what? As long as I'm getting paid, like you can't go wrong. So,
Exactly. It's like, and it's fun. I think that's like
it
what's
is fun.
so like cool about it. It's like it's
Yes,
not, especially like you said, like the 9 to 5 sometimes can feel like blah. So
it
it's like
is. Right.
go do something fun and make a little cash.
Yeah, and that's the whole, and going back to your point about having a creative outlet, these, being in a spin instructor and modeling offer me the ability to have that creative outlet because I'm expanding my knowledge about different things and I'm learning so many different things about, this, that, and the other about modeling. And I'm like, I had no idea about any of this. And,
Yeah.
it provides networking. So I've been able to meet other people and they're like, hey, like we saw that you did this shoot. Like, would you want to come, to this one at this time? Like, builds connections. You just never know where it's going to take you. So right now, I'm not represented by any modeling agency. I just kind of represent myself like, independently. But
Mhm.
one day I'll, if you see me on a magazine, you're going to know.
If
She's
you
like, oh,
download that
she's,
stretching app,
well, I don't, and that's the thing. It only lasted for a few, like maybe a year because I think they updated their platform and updated like their
or
vibe.
visuals
And
or
so I'm not even
something.
there anymore. I'm like, well,
Mm.
I think I have screenshots. So if I find the screenshots, I'll share them.
Post them. Love it.
Yes.
Stephanie's stretching tips of the day. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I will say because it was like an actual session and I was being recorded because it was a live recording of me doing the stretch. So like I actually had to hold it for the duration. It was very bizarre. So if they're like, hold this deep stretch for 3 minutes, I was in a stretch for 3 minutes and
Oh.
some of it hurt. I was like, ooh, I don't stretch a lot.
You're like, I'm getting a workout and just doing
What
this shoot.
100% I was sweating. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And the
I
light,
love
because they
it.
have the lights and then it's like giant cameras and it was just a thing. But nah,
Amazing. Amazing.
yes, girl. So that's enough about my side hustles, but I want to hear about yours because you have a lot of creative side hustles that are bringing in some income. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, girl. So I have a couple. So one is I launched last year. It was like a little over a year ago now. I launched an Etsy shop. And it is like book so when I launched it, I was like, I want this to be like book and travel inspired merch kind of stuff. And realistically, it's mostly book merch because travel merch, I feel like can start to get a little chuggy and like I'm like, do I want to like the Eiffel Tower on my shirt? I don't know.
Not
So like
chuggy.
so I actually don't have a lot of like travel stuff on there. It is mostly book stuff. But yeah, I wanted a creative outlet and I learned about this concept, which I should probably know the name of it. I think it might be called drop shipping, but it's like essentially where you create the designs and then you work with a company that um if people order that item, that's when they make it. So it's a little bit different where like I think people are like intimidated to like start like a clothing company or like creating merch of any kind because they're like, oh my gosh, you got to like buy in bulk. And then what if you don't sell it and it's like huge startup costs? But what's really nice about this is like you don't have any of that. So basically what I do is I create a design and then I work with a company and there's like a couple different ones out there, but I work with a company where they sell like or they have like the base things. So like a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, a crew neck, mugs, like they just have a bunch of basic products that you can put your design on and you can kind of see like how does it look and things like that. And then you put them on your Etsy shop or it doesn't have to be Etsy. You could have like your own like website or whatever. I use Etsy
Mhm.
because it's like that's where people are searching for stuff, and then if somebody orders it, it's like automatically synced through Etsy. And if people buy it, then like obviously the company that's like printing this and shipping it for me, they make a really, really large portion, honestly. But like they make a
Mm.
portion and then I make a portion. So like for example, one of my best sellers are these like hats that I sell that are inspired by ACOTAR. And they just have like three little stars on them, very basic black hat. I absolutely love it. I wear it all the time. And like that's my best selling item. And literally when somebody orders it, they make the hat for me because I've already submitted the design. I don't have to do anything. It's all automatic. And so then it just goes out.
Wow.
And so all I really have to do is like the setup stuff. So when I come up with a new design, and I usually kind of go through sprints where like I don't design anything for a couple months, and then I'm like I get really creative and I just like start creating stuff, and I'm like, ooh, this will look cute on a hoodie or on this or on
Mhm.
that or whatever. And then I put it on there, and then I don't do a whole lot of marketing on it. Like I post some of it on my socials, but there's probably more I could do there. I don't like sell ads on it. I just kind of let it sit, and then um, people come across it, and every once in a while they buy something. So it's not like a huge income. I certainly could invest more, but it's like
Sure.
a fun creative outlet, and then I get some passive income when people buy stuff off there.
Yeah. Why is it though? I mean, I guess I understand that the company makes a certain profit, but like, is there a way for you to like switch it up so that you make more of the profit? Or is it just
Yeah.
easier for you to just go through this company to,
Oh, totally. Like if I did all the shipping myself, or if I like put the prints on all the products, there like I could reduce my costs that way. But I feel like the convenience is worth it. Um, and so it's just like easier. Like there's other
Mhm.
companies and they have like different rates on stuff. And then it's also like Etsy makes a cut too, which there's a lot of controversy about how much Etsy takes out of that cut, honestly, right now. But
Yeah.
they're a platform too. So to me, it's like for a side hustle, it's worth it. Like if I were going to turn this into like, a massive like storefront or something, there's like other ways you can cut costs like down the road too, like not sell on Etsy, but then you have to really do marketing and stuff, which doesn't feel worth it to me right now.
That's fair. And I think for what you're doing, because you are focusing on like book talk, I think people are excited about it.
Yeah.
And as they come across, they're like, oh, that's super cute and buy it. So, I mean, there are
Yeah.
always opportunities for you to grow it, which is that's the beautiful thing about it is like, it's so creative that you can add more merch and you can like expand on it. You can add more elements to it outside of books, like whatever you want to
Yeah.
do. So you do have the flexibility and the shop is already open. So like now you have freedom to literally do whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
yeah, it's
nice.
I and like the things will stay on there for, you pay like a fee to like list something for once, but then like the listing stays on, I think it's for like 90 days or something, and then you can
Mhm.
renew it from there. And like as long as you sell something in that 90 days, like you get that money back pretty quick. And so I don't know, some like when I was like really looking into this, there's like some places like when you look on Etsy and you look at like t-shirts and then you look at the storefronts, like these people have like over 300, 500 listings. And so once you put a listing out there, it's passive income. You don't have to do anything, right?
It's
It's just
true.
exists. And so it's just people. And so like you kind of think about like around holidays, like change your SEO keywords and stuff like that so that it's more likely to pop up for people when people are shopping a lot. So there's like some of
Yeah.
that, but
There's
it's fun.
there's so many elements and details into that because you could really make it so people do when you type in certain things, your shop is the first one or like one of the like
Exactly.
popular shops that pops up at the top. Wow.
Yep. Exactly. So that's one of my side hustles. And then
Mhm.
related to that, I create content. And so how I've been like working on monetizing that, like I've only had someone pay me, well, I guess that's not true now, but like there's like a couple ways you can monetize or a few ways you can monetize content creation. Like one is like a brand pays you for your video.
Mhm.
Um and there's some of that, and then those ones are I think like harder, honestly. Like you have to like really have like a engaged community. I've had someone reach out to me and pay me for a video that I already had. I'd already posted it and they wanted to post it on their socials, and I was like, as long as, and they were going to give me credit and they were going to pay me for it, and so it's like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine. So I've had
Wow.
that. Yeah, and then the one I've had the most successful with though is like selling products on there, or like so like I'm an LTK creator, which is essentially a platform that you qualify for where you can it's honestly pretty incredible. It allows you to provide links to honestly like any store that you could think of that you probably shop at. Like there's some that's not on there, but like
Right.
Amazon, Target, Abercrombie, Urban Outfitters, like all the stores are Ulta Beauty, Sephora, all of them are on there. And so then it's basically like you create a storefront of your things. So like literally, I posted on there today my outfit. I'm posting this on my socials anyways. If anybody's like, oh, that's a really cute vest, I want to buy it, they can go to my link and I make a commission off of it if they buy
Right.
from it. And so that's where most of my income from content creation comes from. I'm also an Amazon influencer and an Etsy influencer, so I can post links directly to Amazon and Etsy, but I mostly use LTK because it's like nice for people. It's a one place to go versus like, do I
Yeah.
go here or there?
Yeah, I was
That kind
about
of
to
stuff.
ask if
So
like it's easier to route everybody to just one LTK profile and they can just are so they're able to like scroll through. So how do you actually set
yeah,
that up? Is it like linking your Instagram like in feed
yeah.
posts to the platform for them to click and then get to the link? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. So So there's like a storefront and you post on there. And so it's kind of like any social media platform. I can post pictures, I can post videos, and then they have certain hashtags that are like, so it's not like on Instagram where you can put any hashtag. They're like set hashtags there, which is honestly kind of annoying, but it is what it is. They're early, they can expand. So you set hashtags. And then you link to the products. So like I like go to my Amazon previous orders, you know, and I'm like, okay, this item, this item, this item, whatever. And then like on the back end, I have like saved folders, if you will, of pretty much my entire wardrobe. So like I buy a new item and I just go ahead and put it on there because I'm like, eventually I'm probably going to post something in this outfit. And
Right.
so it'll be easier for me to find it and link it later. And then I post it, and then you can curate certain things. Like they just launched this like products page where you can put all your top products, and then it's just like chronological. They also do like a trending post. So if any of my posts are getting a lot of engagement, those ones will bubble to the top, that kind of stuff. And then on Instagram or whatever, mostly I use Instagram and Pinterest for this. I just post like a picture or the video. Like sometimes I do like outfits of the day, you know, like a whole get ready. And sometimes it's just like in my stories, a picture. And then I just add the link there and people can go to it. And then in my highlights, I have like a little section for all my past outfits or like skincare products or whatever. And you go from
Yeah.
there. So yeah.
Okay. That's really nice. I have to look into this a little bit more. I know you sent me a link to like one of the things you had linked on your
Yeah.
LTK, but I'm like, okay, that's very interesting. I love that it gives you just one central place for, you know, people that follow you or interested in like
Yeah.
whatever you have to just go and be like, oh, I really love that. Let me, you know, help her out and like click on the link, buy it and give you a little commission. So that's really cool.
Also, a pro tip, one last plug on this. If you download the LTK app, because there's an LTK app and then there's the LTK creator app. But if you download the
Mm,
LTK app, you can follow your favorite influencers on there. And LTK is very popular where I feel like if you have someone that you follow for a lot of stuff, they're probably on there. And so if you follow them and you favorite any items they post about, then you will get an alert when the price drops on them, which is really, really nice. So if you're like, this is kind of pricey, but when it goes on sale, I'm down, it'll send you a notification when you do so. So
that's
definitely
actually
download
pretty
the
cool.
app.
Okay. Love that. Little
Yeah,
pro tip. You'll have to
fun
drop,
little side hustle.
I mean, yes, but you will have to drop your links low key.
Yeah,
So everybody
we can
can
put them in the
see.
show notes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Love it. Yeah. So yeah, that's and like in terms of like that being like a successful side hustle, like am I making a ton of money? Like I'm sorry if you see some of these people who are like, I started making 6,000 in 1 month in my first month, and I'm like, maybe if you didn't have a full-time job on top of it. But as a side hustle, be patient,
Right.
have fun with it. Because to me, it's like a creative outlet. It's fun to post about my outfits and stuff. And then
Yeah.
like, yeah, money starts to roll in slowly but surely.
No, I completely agree. I love that. And, you know, we have done a lot of, like, we've had a lot of conversations about our side hustles like prior. And so we decided to reach out to the community, reach out to our people, our listeners, and find out what other side hustles are out there, things that are bringing you joy, things that, you know, you didn't think that were going to bring you income, but you surprised yourself. So there's just a few. First off, photography, which I'm like, that's absolutely true. I've
Such a good
connected,
one.
it is such a good one. I've connected with so many photographers that started out was like, oh, I was working a 9 to 5 or I was doing this and I decided to pick up a camera and start shooting. And they ended up quitting their 9 to 5 and moved to photography full time. So it's really cool to see different sides of that, seeing people who still do it as a side hustle and it's just something that's fun for them. And then people who've transitioned that into their full-time career.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it is that creative outlet too, right? Like they work
Mhm.
like a very analytical 9 to 5, and then they're like, I just want to do something I enjoy, you know? And then like if you can bring joy, like photos bring joy, so much joy to other people's lives too.
They
Like I think
do.
that's such a fun side hustle. Okay,
Yeah, I
another
agree.
one. Stand by just 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, who's walking out the door? I didn't want to yell OnlyFans when he came in. Um, Another one that we heard was like OnlyFans and Feet Finder. And you know what? If that's your vibe, I'm like, get the bag. Good for you.
Go
Because
off,
if
you know?
someone's willing to pay for it, you may as well. You know, it's just another form of content creation in my head.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. You know what I mean? I mean, low key, I've thought about it. I mean, I got my toes done, so I wonder if I should like Go on.
Maybe this person inspired you in some way.
May- maybe. Um, moving right along into speaking of the virtual side and, putting things on the internet. I did also hear from other people that being a virtual assistant is a great side hustle. I recently found out a couple of people that I know have their own like virtual assistant business, which has been something that's brought them a lot of different clientele. They've met people through this. I think it's really cool. I don't really know much about it if I'm being completely honest, but it seems like a great side hustle to build upon that you could honestly turn into a full-time job if that was something that you were wanting to do.
1000%. It's kind of like one of like some people who have like multiple work from home jobs because like to me like virtual assistant would be like a really good one for that, because and I've seen
Absolutely.
people who do this for like authors, for like up and coming authors who maybe like can't pay a whole ton and like can't have a full-time assistant, but they like need some help with like coordinating like advanced reader copy, like
Mhm.
reviewers and stuff like that, like, and people will like support different authors in that way. I've seen that, and I can imagine the same thing as like somebody who just needs some help with like answering emails or scheduling things and stuff like that.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Love that. Another one I've heard of is being a research participant, and as a researcher by training and former researcher, I love this one. I'm like, yes, we need more people doing this. Research participants are always hard. And like, there's like different online ones you can look up, and you can be like a focus group person. You can be a person who just takes surveys. Like, you get to like try a bunch of new products and give like honest feedback. Like, you don't have to worry about being people pleasing because trust me, as a former researcher, we don't want you to tell us that it's just great if you hate it.
Right.
Like that defeats the purpose. Tell me if it sucks. Like tell me if the product sucks so we can fix it. So I think that's a fun one too.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually done that. I took surveys for
Have
a while.
you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to get emails from some like facility here in Dallas and they're like, take our survey and make $40. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then there was
Yeah.
another one, they were like, come, like there was a couple that I went in person. They at the end they just had like $50, $100 gift card, like Visa gift cards. And I'm like, hey, I'm not mad about it. You only needed an hour of my time. Sure. I'm fine
Oh,
with that.
100%. They
Hmm.
pay well, especially
They
if it's like
do.
big companies. And if you do like an in-home interview where somebody comes into your home to interview you, it's good pay. Like pre-COVID, it was like 300 plus
Yeah.
dollars for something
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not a
good.
bad idea at all to look into for sure.
Yeah, love that.
Another one that I've heard about is just being an Airbnb host and
Mm,
just living your best life, letting people come into homes that you either like are renting or you bought and it's just an extra space for you to rent. And not even like homes, but like maybe like a room in your home or an apartment or whatever it is. So another great way to make money, especially if there's an event in your city and people are needing places to stay. I mean, you can increase the prices. I mean, you can do whatever you need to, but the demand will definitely be there. So I thought that was really cool.
that's definitely one I've considered as well. It's the startup cost for that one that's stopped me from doing it, but
Yeah,
it's definitely one I've looked into for sure.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Another one someone said was like personal training or meal planning, which is a really good one. Like obviously that can be full time too, but like
Hmm.
yeah, if you're like good at meal prepping, and a lot of like people do that just through Instagram and stuff now,
They
right? Where they
do.
like promote that they do that. That's smart.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen so many of them. I think I follow some of them like between like my personal account and my fitness account. I've seen so many and the food looks good. Like it's not just like, I wouldn't order that. Like some of it, I'm like, I would eat this for sure.
100%. Yeah. I love that. These are good ones. I'm glad
Hmm.
people sent those. People have to let us know what other ones too, because there's so many out there. Like
So many.
just like it in it, I love that like a side hustle can just start as like a hobby, and then you just kind of like, oh, maybe I can monetize this just a little bit and just have a little bit extra income, and it's fun.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So with that, I think, is there anything else that we have for side hustles?
I think that's it. I mean, people let us know if you have more questions. We can talk more about it, but we wanted to give folks like some examples, some ideas, and like how to like maybe think about it. And so I would say like if somebody's like thinking about doing a side hustle, just do it. It doesn't hurt. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's the best, honestly. Keeps you busy and it's fun and you never know what you're going to gain from it. So, with that being said, we're going to move into our podcast game now. Very excited. Y'all know the drill.
My
We're
favorite
playing.
part.
It's my favorite part too. We're playing overrated or underrated. So, you know the drill. We're going to list out a few things, people, places, things, ideas, whatever. And we're just going to say whether they are overrated or underrated. So, starting with coffin nails.
Mm,
Jess, overrated or underrated?
I'm gonna say mad overrated.
Ooh, the attack. I'm ready.
Okay, like first of all, like self-expression, it's a form of art. If you like them, go for them. So it's not that I'm like, yeah. But like I don't like the discourse of like certain nails being like better than others. I think that's ick. And I just don't find them practical. And I am a long nail person. Like these are my natural nails. I
Yeah,
just
bring
got
them in.
where am I?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Ooh.
no, they disappeared. I
Oh,
just
yeah, those
got
are
them
nice.
done. I have long nails. Like my nail lady literally tells me that I have the longest nails of any of her clients. So like, cause I let them grow for like 4 weeks before I go back in. I
That's
have very
fair.
long natural nails. So it's not that, but like, and and I can't imagine the coffin nails longer. Like I'm like, how? I'm like, mine are already so long and like they're too long. They get to a point where like if I'm taking a boxing class, I can't take a boxing class. Like with those long nails. I think they're overrated. And I genuinely do not know how people wipe their ass with them. Like, I'm sorry, I said it. I know Cardi B tried to break this down for us one time, a long time ago, but I still don't get it. I genuinely
No,
don't.
absolutely not.
Overrated.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you too. I also have my natural nails here and I do not like when they get so long, but I also feel like out of my group of friends, I keep my nails the longest out of everybody, like
Right?
lengthwise. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I don't see why, and to be fair, I did have coffin nails at one time. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't fit my hands. Like I've discovered that
Yeah.
almond just fits my nails, like fits my hands better. Um, and it's just, I don't like the practicality. One of my friends, she had sent us in our group chat a picture of someone with extremely long coffin nails. And I'm like, how do you even do anything with those? Like, it's
Literally.
just, to me, they're just not practical. That doesn't make any sense. And again, like you said, if that's like your vibe, then go for it. And if you can make it work, then, more power to you. But it's not for me. So,
Yeah. Same. Overrated it is. Check,
mhm.
check.
Moving on, tattoos, overrated or underrated?
You go first on this one.
Ugh, dang. I don't I think they're appropriately rated. I don't have any tattoos. Um, so I don't know, I don't have an opinion on this. So I'm just gonna say they're appropriately rated because I feel like people who get tattoos, most of the time when people get tattoos, they attach meaning to why they're doing it. And so I can appreciate that, but I don't know. I also don't want to dog on someone's uh expression of art, like art expression, if they're just like getting them to get them. So I'm just gonna leave it as they are appropriately rated. So
Wow. I feel like you're low-key censoring yourself a little bit.
I mean, I might be, but I don't really, like I said, I don't really have like, I don't hate them,
Hmm.
but they're not, again, they're not for me. So
Hmm. So
oh,
you don't think you would
if
ever get a tattoo?
I don't know. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I
That's
feel like
fair.
if I ever get a tattoo, it would be because it would be something that's very meaningful to me. Like it is
Yeah.
associated with whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna get one to get one, if that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I really want
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
butterfly. I'm gonna go tattoo. Absolutely not. That's
No,
no.
no, no.
But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I want to get like, I don't know, like
Something with meaning.
handwriting of like, whatever, like fine. But I wouldn't just go get something to get it. Like it would have to be, there would be a full blown reason behind why I'm getting a tattoo. So,
Totally. I'm the same way on that. I will say I think that they are underrated
Okay.
with some caveats there. Quality matters. Um, quality matters a lot.
It
So
does.
I'm not down with the like garage basement tattoos that end up looking terrible.
Hmm.
Like you should go to like a reputable shop and you're gonna also get what you pay for from that perspective. But I love them, and I find that I love them more and more the older I get, actually, as like a form of self-expression. I joke around with my husband. I'm like, yeah, I'm like so tatted, and I have like 3 tiny tattoos. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm so tatted.
I love it.
Um, but I love it. It's fun. I have one tattoo that is of it's my grandma's name. When she passed away, that was my first tattoo. And then I have Dracarys that I got with my friend Haley. And then which is from Game of Thrones. And then I have a wyvern, or it's like a type of dragon, from one of my favorite books that I got with my friend Amy, and we got like matching ones. So well, she got like something different, but from like the same book
Right.
series. And so they all have meaning for me. Like they're all like represent like a time in my life and like a person that like matters a lot to me. And so yeah, I like them a lot. My husband is in the middle of getting a full sleeve. Like he goes
Mhm.
tomorrow for like his third or fourth sitting for it. And I just gotta say he's looking pretty good with it. So I'm very very, very much
Oh,
enjoying it.
I truly love that for you.
Thanks.
So how many sittings is he going through to get this? I don't understand the sleeves. I mean, the sleeves look great, but like, what's
Yeah.
the process?
I think he's sat 3 times so far. And then he goes in for his fourth sitting tomorrow. And then I'm guessing he'll have 1 to 2 more.
Okay.
His is like a realism, it's Breaking Bad themed, and it's like a realist design. So he has like Walter White's face. He has this character named Lalo from Better Call Saul, and then he's getting Gus. And his is like a very detailed, like kind of like gory face going on. So
Mhm.
um it's a lot. His artist is pretty incredible. He's like definitely top tier. But it's a lot. It's a long, and it's like 7 to 8 hours per sitting for
Oh,
his.
it's a
Yeah.
full work day.
Oh, it's a full work day. Yes. Like a
Jeez.
full work day.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's gonna be worth it when it's done. So
I'll post pics for sure.
cannot wait. Cannot wait to see. Okay. Moving
What's
now
next?
into something a little bit more relevant right now. Drake. Is he is he overrated or underrated, Jess? You have to go first. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go first.
Yeah. Well, if the girlies don't already know, I'm a huge Drake fan and I've been obsessed for years. So I'm gonna say underrated. I mean, potentially appropriately rated, but recently I will say underrated because all these motherfuckers are trying to come for him and say he's not good. And I'm like, y'all are insane. Obviously, art is subjective, what you like and what you don't like, but like, you can't say he's not one of the greatest ever. So,
Mhm.
underrated, and I'm obsessed. What about you?
I think he's appropriately rated.
Yeah.
I like Drake. But I'm not gonna I won't say I don't think he's overrated, but I also can't say that he's underrated either, but I like him, so I feel like he's good for where he's at. So I like his music. I will almost always do a theme ride with Drake. So, and
Mhm.
people love it. I love it. It's a vibe. So
He makes
yeah,
bops. Like, he
he
makes bops.
does. He does. So yeah, I also don't like the conversations around like, oh, he's trash, he's this. As opposed to what? Are you talented? Do you
Like,
rap?
quite literally.
Do you I'm sorry, like I could go into a whole rant about people who hate on like big named artists while you're sitting in your basement. Like I don't understand that. Like stop. Like you're
Literally.
like again, we've talked about you're allowed to not like somebody's music. You can say, you know what, I don't really care for their music, but they are talented or they have this, that, and the other. But like, don't sit there and say that they're talentless. Don't sit there and say that they're trash. Like your opinion means nothing. So anyway,
Quite literally nothing. Like, thanks for the engagement.
yeah,
Bye.
they do not care. They don't care.
No,
So they're making
not
their
at all.
money regardless. Okay. And finally, I have to hop off of this before I go on. And now brunch, Jess, overrated, underrated?
I think it is, I would say I'm trying not to say appropriately rated for everything. So I'm gonna say underrated. I really
Okay.
love brunch.
Yeah.
The only thing I would change about brunch is like usually whenever I try to plan brunch, I end up it's actually more like breakfast because I'm a morning girly, but like I call it brunch because it's the same vibes. I'm a big fan of brunch. I know you feel very strongly about brunch, so how would
You
you rate
know,
this?
underrated, underrated. Okay. And living in Dallas opened my world up to brunch because I didn't really, not that I didn't know what brunch was, but I didn't experience brunch in San Antonio when I was living there like I did when I moved to Dallas. And my first brunch experience was I went to this restaurant in Uptown, and it was just a whole vibe. I walk around and everybody's just like laughing and chatting. Like it just seemed very much like out of a movie where everyone's just like eating, drinking mimosas. There was a giant mimosa bar. People had Bloody Marys on the table, food I'm like, what? They're like, this is brunch. And I'm like, this is brunch? I was
You're like
like,
expecting like an IHOP or
yeah,
something.
I thought that because living in Western
Yeah,
Kansas, that was brunch. Oh, we're gonna go to breakfast after church. We're going to
totally.
IHOP. Like that was our brunch. So like that's what I in my mind was like IHOP is brunch. No, there are restaurants that are dedicated that have dedicated brunch service. They have mimosa bars,
Mhm.
Bloody Mary bars, they have brunch specials, they have what I mean, they have all these things and they have set hours, they have brunch only menus. And I'm like, this is a whole thing. I love it. And
Yeah.
there's just so much. I mean, there are whole articles in Dallas that are like the top 20 places to go to brunch in Dallas or in North Dallas or wherever you're like, whatever city that you're in within the DFW area. I love it. And my friends, every single one of them that are, if they're, not if they're listening, they are listening. They know how I love brunch. I will never say no to brunch unless I am happen to be out of town.
Yep.
That's just it. So underrated for
Wait,
sure.
where's your favorite? Do you have a favorite brunch spot in Dallas
Oh,
area?
there are too many. Um, oh gosh. I don't no, I can't answer this right
We
now.
can't.
There's no
I
because
put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
yeah, because I'm like my brain is like running around. If I had to guess for brunch, I mean I do love Haywire. Haywire is like one of my favorite restaurants in general, so I guess I'll also add that to like one of my top places for brunch too. Food is
Mhm.
delicious, the vibes are amazing. Never had a bad experience there. So that's also the place where I won my gift card. So I mean, it's also probably a little bit of a bias.
You're like,
But
I just love them.
their food is genuinely, it's actually very good. So I would say Haywire for sure.
Love that. Yeah.
Yes.
I will say I I went to this brunch spot in San Francisco. I don't know if it's still a thing, but
Mm.
it was called the Pink Elephant, I think is what it was called. And I went with Chrissy, you know Chrissy, and
Yeah.
we went there and did not know. We were expecting like good vibe brunch, but like I swear to God, it was like a club at like 10 a.m. And
Yes.
there were girls puking in the bathroom. I was like, are we out like clubbing right now? Like it was like bottomless mimosas. It was the most insane experience ever. It was too much for me for that kind of brunch. Like I like mimosas and I like to, have a good time at brunch, but like club music playing. And I was like, wow, this is next level brunch.
Oh
That was the
yes.
wildest brunch I've ever been to.
Yeah, that seems very extreme. We have a hip hop brunch on Sundays. It's a place called The Common Table, and
Mhm.
it is a vibe. I will say the few times that I've been out in that area where it's happening on a Sunday and I walk by, I mean everybody's on the patio and there are
Yeah.
giant mimosa towers at basically every single table. And people are
Yeah.
just like vibing. And there's one Sunday that I was there and they were playing like 90s and 2000s hip hop. And I'm like,
Oh man.
why am I not in there right now? Like it was so good. So that to me was
Yeah.
like a good vibe because again, people were very chill, but they were definitely
Yeah.
having a good time. It was very
Yeah.
much not the San Francisco experience that you had.
Yeah, no, this one was like literally like it was like dark inside, like a club. Like I think an outdoor, like loud music and day drinks and stuff like that,
Hmm.
that kind of brunch I'm way more into. This was like literally an experience. I was so in shock.
Yeah, no, that's not for me.
Not the vibe. That one's overrated.
Yeah,
All
that one
right.
is, yes.
Well, this has been a fun episode talking about side hustles, and I just love our podcast game so much. But
I do
everybody
too.
knows we like to close out every episode by sharing the last drop of tea for the day. Stephanie, do you want to drop it for us today?
Yes, yes. So, as you all know, side hustles can just provide the opportunity to connect with the community, explore your interests, but most of all, they are the most fun. So, do what works for you and just live your life. Have fun with it.
So good. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.